Let us not dawdle.
Not too long of a stream, but I want to stream a little. Okay. One of the Shadow Cutters to finish the Astray mission, and then I'll go meet the Liege.
Argenta gestures for your attention. Rogue Trader, I would like to remind you about Reverend Hieronymus's request. He asked us to search for a potential cultist den in Footfall's shadow quarters.
You seem weighed down by something. What? No. Argenta shakes her head and rubs her temples. Tiredly. Apologies, Rogue Trader. Being here on Footfall is difficult for me. It's a minor personal weakness. But I'm ready to fight as ever. It will have no effect on my combat ability. If something is troubling you, tell me. Perhaps I can help.
Argenta shoots you a wary look. I suppose I could share it with you, but the tale will be long, and I will have to start from the beginning. I wasn't born in the Expanse. I was sent here to be a guardian of a reliquary on Footfall. But my ship became caught in a warp anomaly, and although it lasted only days for those on board, decades had flown by in real space. When at last I arrived on Footfall, it felt like I had been erased from time. No one was waiting for me on this side of the maw. The people who were supposed to greet me, who knew about my imminent arrival, had died. The reliquary that should have been mine to safeguard had instead been taken under the protection of Reverend Hieronymus and his brethren. They were more than up to the task. They had no need of my help. Footfall became my cage. I didn't know who I was or what purpose I had here. The way back to Calixa seemed like another trap. Even if I were to find a ship headed there, my sector, my order, they too would have lived decades without me by that point. Whenever I'm reminded of those months spent on Footfall, it feels like I'm falling into a pit. I hope the rumors of cultists turn out to be true. I can't wait to prove with my bolter that the world and the Imperium need me.
How and why did you stay on Footfall? Come to an end. Something must have changed.
Yes. A sign, almost a portent, showed me the right path. But it's not something I can speak of like this, on the street, in this den of malice. Let us be on our way. All I'll say is that on Footfall I met Lady Theodora and joined her, and that was the end of my languishing in this place.
You know Footfall better than me. Do you think rumors of heretics are true?
There was a time when I'd have said it was likely a fabrication. One can say many things about the Kasbalika mission and the other shady operators on Footfall, but even those thugs are loyal to the Emperor, and so they mercilessly exterminate outright heretics in their territory. But now, heretics have launched an open attack on a rogue trader's ship. A member of your dynasty, Kunrad Voigtver, has turned out to be one of them. And Footfall itself is sinking deeper and deeper into madness. In these times of strife, I'm willing to believe in heretics who openly perform their dark rituals and brazenly mark their dens with sacrilegious symbols.
We must keep going.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
The Shadow Quarters. When I was last on Footfall, I used to take my weapon and wander this area, anticipating an encounter with a mutant or a bandit.
It wasn't
Why
time
are
that
your
destroyed these
recollections
tiles.
of
They
this
were
so
definitely
blue?
cried out with purpose and
the more you
diligence.
talk about it, the darker the blue becomes.
Keep your wits about you.
I see what others do not.
This fake door is connected to a mine trigger. This fake door is connected to a mine trigger.
Who holds a flamer like that, you idiot? You almost refilled. Here. We'll show you how it's done. I'm just not feeling it anymore. That's all. The guy pretty much a cinder now. It's not. It was a lot more fun when it wasn't.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
Crush him!
I'll make it happen. On it.
I will do my duty. One fewer target.
Isn't this a job for the scrap to die with grace, at least?
Let's get to it. Let's make it quick.
Just hit the ground.
I shall not fail. The shadows will see it done. Trust me.
Rookies! Hold on.
I'm here, maggot! Don't frighten me!
Out of my way.
Deliver us!
Die! Follow my lead. Indeed. Pain and duty go hand in hand. Victory is imminent.
As the Emperor commands. I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. Doubt is for the weak. Strife is a prayer.
Here we go. Let's get to it.
My gut tells me it's a bad idea. I won't compromise my principles. Who, if not me?
Let's get to it.
Help me, Lord Captain!
An offering of blood.
Let's make it quick.
Death whispers my name.
This is just too much for me.
It will be done. I will do my duty. Just a minor setback.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
Hold on. Out of my way.
Can't catch my breath.
If I may,
Time to redouble our efforts.
Save's coming. Who's saying I'm save's coming?
I always have a backup plan.
Pay
What do we have here?
Rising
The
sun
Shadow
symbol.
Quarters.
It seems
When I
oddly
was last
repulsive,
on Footfall,
even sinister.
I used to take my weapon and wander this area, anticipating an
My
encounter
implants on the
with
blink.
a mutant or
Again.
a bandit.
Maybe a bit of sacred oil
I
would do the
enjoy
trick.
it here.
I'll do it myself.
This place
No need to
reminds
involve
me
an
of the
engine seer.
flagship's freight line.
the shadows
Almost like
reveal
all their secrets.
Rising sun symbol.
of House or
It seems oddly repulsive, even sinister.
My Auspex has detected something.
Nothing escapes my sight.
Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive,
Is there money
even
to
sinister.
be made?
Over there.
This
I've
fake
read
door is
about
connected
this.
to a mine trigger.
Attention to detail is the key to
Rising
success.
sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even
I
sinister.
always keep my options open.
We should deal with this.
Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even sinister.
I woke up with a feeling of wonder, as if a field of flowers was blossoming nearby. A child was saved from death. 1,000 heretics were burning alive.
Always keep your eye on the prize. I'll make an example out of you. Show them no mercy. I'll see to it personally.
Running by narrative. My vow is to serve. Request denied. The Omniscient Council comprehends all.
I am a navigator, as duty demands. If only that were possible.
As the tenants. As honor orders. I shall not fail. The shadows will see it done.
Here we go. Mere pain won't stop me.
Indeed. At your beck and call. Reduce to dust. It will be done.
Faith without deed.
High momentum.
This is unacceptable. I will not. I refuse. Doubt is for the weak.
Let's get to it.
My ears are ringing.
Let's get to it.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
I refuse. My gut tells me it's a bad idea. And I won't compromise my principles. I won't stand for it. I'll make it happen. It's as good as done.
Let's make it quick. Hold on. Out of my way.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. You, my Emperor! None can escape the Emperor's justice!
Here we go. Just a minor setback.
My gut tells me it's a bad idea. Who, if not me?
Running binary override. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. My vow is
You can do worse, but not by much.
Trust me. As the tenets demand. A broken blade is no use.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Nothing!
The color has faded.
My battle is not over.
running binary override. Request approved. The Omnissiah knows. Comprehends.
How dare you!
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Aim for the heart next time. I will leave footprints of scarlet. Trust me. There is only death, yours or mine. The shadows will see it down. A dance of blades and shadows. Trust me.
Let the blood of the wicked be shed as thou hast willed.
Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive,
Keep your
even
wits
sinister.
about you.
Unlock.
This Explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
Let us not do.
Pay attention.
Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly
See?
repulsive,
Right there.
even sinister. Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even sinister.
Is there money to be made?
People in the crowd look greedily at goods for which they have neither coupons nor money.
Nothing escapes my sight.
Rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even sinister.
Pay attention.
Rising sun symbol. It seems
I
oddly
always have a
repulsive,
backup plan.
even sinister.
cannot serve you in this way.
The small nook in the stone is empty apart from
Rise
dust and
to
a
the
few
top,
scraps of paper.
or get left in the
There is
dust.
evidence that the cache once had a small door covering it and a locking mechanism.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
I wonder what's the right way to pray before going to the bar or after. Under a
Success
layer
is
of
the
rust,
only outcome I
scratches,
accept.
and ancient paint, the silhouettes of long erased letters are barely visible. Undoubtedly, in the past, this filthy sign was adorned with the proud name of the bureaucratic heart of the entire Imperium Adeptus Administratum.
Let us not dawdle.
Just burning rats. And some trash, and some parasites of other sorts. The district's under quarantine, you see. It got hit by something nasty. A disease. Or maybe it isn't a disease, just some bugs and worms what crawled out of some ship or other. No, we don't. And we don't want to find out. If something nasty's cropped up, the right move is to contain it and kill it with fire. Not go in to see what it is and why it's there, who knows. They found them in their hovels, already dead. Blue sores on their bodies, and they stank something awful, which is why the lot that found them didn't even risk looting the corpses. Good on them, I guess. Doesn't mean we let them out, of course, you're looking at them. We stand here, burn the foulness, and we've got people standing guard so that no one escapes. Put some mines down, a whole load of them for the same reasons. The water, the sewers all blocked off, to stop any communications getting out. The air's open, I suppose, but the foulness doesn't seem to be airborne. There haven't been any strange deaths outside the district. Of course not. I mean, I heard Reverend Hieronymus has been praying for their souls, which sounded more like, retribution fell upon them, and rightly so. That's the most they can hope for. No dice. Not gonna happen. We're letting no one in. I'm telling you right now, bribes and intimidation won't work on me, so don't even try. You can file a petition with the Liege if you're so desperate. But my advice to you would be to go on your merry way. The Void's got plenty of nasty, dangerous holes. You don't have to die in this one in particular. You'll go in and die, and that means I'll have more corpses to burn. He pointedly turns away. rising sun symbol. It seems oddly repulsive, even
Keep
sinister.
your wits about you.
Under the floor,
my.
you can see the
This
remains
place
of the
has
void
so
ship's
many
life support
colours.
system. It seems that
Every
whoever dismantled
shade
the
I can
vessel decided
imagine
just
is
to leave it
floating
in
the
place.
air.
I always have a backup plan.
Stuck to the plates are lumps of sawdust, toxic waste that is sometimes passed off as ordinary nutritious starch. Unlocked.
Operation successful.
The menu system of the Adeptus Amicus looks eerily similar to the design of the internal scan of the fuel compartment. Someone has inserted new data into the void ship's cogitator left over from ancient times.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust. I always keep my options open.
The upholstery of
I
the dirty
didn't?
sofa moves slightly. A soft hissing can be distinctly heard from the depths of the furniture. The woman looks to be in her 40s, and she is surveying you with interest. Her right eye appears almost black against her dusky skin, while her left eye emits a greenish light filtered through the smudged lens of a prosthesis. Her arms are tattooed all the way from the base of her shoulders to her knuckles. Looking for something specific? You're buying, or maybe selling. Don't be shy, just ask. Old Riza knows all kinds of folks. My boys will fetch you anything. Your tech is always the best. If it's broke, no sweat, we'll fix it or take it apart. And if you score something so nasty that your fussy everyday traders won't even look at it, fear not, just bring it on over. Leave it to me and my boys to find the right buyer. The handling of sacred technology by laypersons uninitiated in the omniscience priesthood is a Category 8 blasphemy. Incriminating evidence of profane acts perpetrated by the unit named Old Riza has been recorded for use in future judicial proceedings. She chuckles darkly. Do you mean to threaten me, tech priest? Well, then, I'll keep a record of this conversation, too. I wonder which of us will feel the harsh hand of justice first? Will it be me, standing in chains before your brethren, or you, standing in an airlock before my boys? Riza lowers her booming, raspy voice. You heard about how the clipper Saint Cognatius got hit recently? The cargo was cleaned out, everything of value taken. Well, that was my boy's handiwork. We call ourselves the Fellowship of the Void, an association of enterprising like-minded people who help the upstanding citizens of the Imperium rid themselves of the possessions that are weighing them down. Riza plasters a shocked expression on her face. Please, no need to be so crude. Your esteemed self no doubt is aware that Hieronymus preaches that asceticism is a virtue, and that only by rejecting material wealth can we ascend in faith. Well, I couldn't agree more. We are merely helping the servants of the Imperium to be a little more like Hieronymus, and taking a small commission for our trouble. Riza's face breaks into a broad smile. That old rascal. I thought he'd croaked in the mines a long time ago, but old man Backville's still alive and kicking, you say? Me and him have been through a lot of interesting scrapes together, and, oh, all the weird and wonderful things we've acquired. Backville wouldn't send his regards along with just anyone. You must have done him a good turn. And because of that, old Riza's going to give you a special discount.
Is there money to be made?
I feel so miserable, and not a soul around who would listen. The flabby man in worn clothes is sighing sadly over a glass of murky booze. Only when he looks up at you do you notice his eyes large, piercing, and full of sorrow, a stark contrast to his unkempt appearance. Could it be that someone actually wishes to keep me company? Cordetti sighs heavily. Here I go again, pouring my heart out to have you disappear in 10 minutes just like everyone else before you. But alright. Here is the story of Cordetti Statov, the unluckiest historian in the Imperium. I was born 2 sectors away from here. My family was quite influential, which allowed me to dedicate myself to my great passion, the history of Imperium architecture. I spent a number of years studying every scholarly work there was to find on this art, and then, once I had inherited my family's fortune, I traveled and documented the development of architectural thought on different worlds. Until one day, oh, that accursed and blessed day. Until one day I came into possession of something quite special. Cordetti pulls what looks like a book or an album with a homemade leather cover out of his bag. Both the pages and the binding look well worn. Here it is. My undoing. This is an authentic booklet titled D. Wayne's Design, one of the thousands that were printed centuries ago, in the times of Footfall's construction. What a curious read. Please, tell us more. As Kasia takes a shy step forward, Cordetti smiles and shows her some of the faded pages. Footfall's founder, Lord Parzimus, was obsessed with his creation's grand future. This booklet describes in detail what Footfall was meant to become upon its completion. Dozens of asteroids turned into glorious palaces and temples. Massive bridges spanning the void itself. And the marvelous flying buttresses. The archivolts of the exterior arches, the elegant arrangement of balusters. And the interior. Polyphoras 10 stories tall and more than a kilometer long. Cyclopean light tubes that catch the light of Furibundus and use it to brighten the halls in the hearts of the asteroids. Stained glass windows and mosaics, bas-reliefs, and statues. Engrossed in his own description, Gordetti stands up and starts tracing the outlines of arches and galleries with his hand. It is no easy feat to cross two sectors, especially for a common citizen, albeit one who has some resources at his disposal. I had to change one ship after another, at times being forced to stay on transfer worlds waiting for a vessel headed in the right direction or for warp disturbances to subside. The voyage took me a total of 107 years. In real space-time, of course. For me it was much less than that, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 or 35. And then, after all those years, having spent all of my savings, I reached my dream. And what did I see? A dump in place of the exquisite portico. Metal anthills clinging to the columns. The marble tiles pilfered by paupers to use as cladding for their hovels. Gordetti hangs his head. It's been a dozen years since I came here, and I still haven't recovered from the shock. I had suspected that not everything from the booklet would exist in reality, but I never expected to see Footfall in such a sorry state. It is like stumbling upon the horrible, decomposing corpse of your beautiful beloved. Argenta's gaze darkens. The warp, like a shameless thief, is guilty of stealing the short span allotted to his servants, but what sense is there in spending half your life on such an enterprise, only to then lose your spirit and waste the remaining half on nothing at all? So then ink and paper too can lie and cause pain. Cassius sighs sadly. Does this mean that all I have ever read about will one day disappoint me with the ugliness of reality? Gordetti strokes his goatee in thought. Yes, Footfall's current appearance slums fused together with the remains of majestic palaces is a unique phenomenon. It would be curious to observe if other places have taken after it, thereby solidifying it as a new style of architecture, or if it still remains a local oddity. My word, you certainly know how to provide an unexpected perspective on things. Be that as it may, I just wanted to say, thank you for hearing me out. Over the dozen years I have spent on Footfall, not one person has hung around long enough to listen to my story to the end. It's such a delight to have shared everything that's been weighing on my mind. I'm poor as a church mouse, but I still have something to offer you as a token of my appreciation. After studying the booklet thoroughly, I discovered something interesting: a ciphered message scattered throughout its pages. Taking the form of a riddle, it described certain places of interest on Footfall. I believe it is the work of the booklet's creators. What if these riddles lead to something? A wondrous discovery? I will gladly share what I've been able to. Riddles. A flash of burning, almost childish curiosity brightens Cassius' austere countenance. I have, of course. But I'm an old man who is blind in one eye and can barely move his legs. I never found anything, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to find. The first location from the riddles isn't far from here. It's a bridge that was supposed to go through the center of this district and into the void toward the neighboring asteroid. Only a couple of its spans were built, and even those lie in ruins. Still, if the cache survived after all those years, it is there somewhere. The second location is the lantern of the Great Cathedral. A lantern is a small tower on top of a dome. You've seen Footfall's atrium, haven't you? The whole atrium is just the nave of the former little cathedral. The Liege's entire so-called palace would have fit inside what was meant to be naught but a single room. The great cathedral, had it been built, would have been even bigger. But, alas, its construction was just getting underway when Dwayne died and the work stopped. The lantern from its dome, however, had already been built and survived. It was brought inside the atrium and dubbed the Chapel of Saint Draciel the Warrior. And that's all I know. I wish you luck in your search. Leftovers of pitiful food are stuck to the sides of the plates. The decanter used to contain a cheap amasec, which, for the sake of attractiveness, has obviously been enriched with a deodorizing agent.
Keep your wits about you.
Do you have business with me? Do you have business with me? Unlock.
Machine gun grants me insight.
Always keep your eye on the price.
The burly woman with a wealth of fiery hair is in the process of tinkering with some unknown device that is clinking melodiously. She has a rough-looking implant in place of her lower jaw. As you approach, the implant begins to move, as if independently of the rest of her face. Welcome to the Adeptus Amasecus, sir. What can Octaviana get you? Amasec. Lho. Something more, interesting. Octaviana freezes in place. It can't be, are you Sister Argenta? The Sister Argenta? The one who has the worst scum on Footfall shaking in their boots? The whole station is talking about you. And here you are, in the flesh, in our humble Amasecus. Argenta stops Octaviana's torrent of adoration with a calm gesture. No more. I seek retribution against transgressors, not glory for myself. Despite her words, you catch a glint in Argenta's eyes. You can tell she is enjoying this enraptured attention. Octaviana's expression changes dramatically when she sees Kybella. You there? You should know that if I see one dead body around here, I'll have you thrown out of my bar with a hole in your head. Your kind don't scare me, and I'm not about to let you ruin my business by leaving corpses all over the room. You being here is already making half my clients feel less thirsty. I have heard your threat. Do not fear, if I must kill someone here, you will not find the bodies. She gives you a searching look, then answers in a lowered voice, maybe. Maybe I do know something. But let's not shout about it to the whole bar, alright? I'll be here long after you walk out of this bar, and the Envers respect no agreements, laws, or other gangs. You look at them the wrong way and you're dead. Anyway, to the point. Those Envers are scum among scum, the most unhinged goons you can find on Footfall, and even other unhinged goons want nothing to do with them. They have no hierarchy, no territory, nothing. Only a nameless leader, who most of the Envers haven't seen once. This leader sends them leaflets with inspiring messages. Followers are recruited by other followers. The Liege tried to bring them into line, but it's like this: you clear out one group, and in the meantime, 5 more spring up elsewhere. You're in the oldest watering hole on Footfall, sir. The Adeptus Amasecus is the only Adeptus one can find on Footfall. She laughs hoarsely. I'm Octaviana. I serve drinks, lend an ear, and, if it comes down to it, quiet the rowdy ones. She sizes you up carefully. Folks usually come to the Amasecus for either pleasure or business. Might I ask what's brought you here? Where better to do business than Footfall, am I right? Business is the only thing keeping this melting pot going. If this wasn't the best place to make deals, Footfall would have been stripped clean long before now, one asteroid at a time. Where better to do business than Footfall, am I right? Octaviano leans forward. Sitting at this bar often puts folks in a talkative mood, and I don't see anybody paying me to keep quiet. Visits from eminent individuals like yourself boost the status of my establishment, so I can repay you by sharing what I've overheard. Some of it might help you out, in your dealings. Octaviana chuckles. What makes you say that? Do you know where you're standing? On the deck of the Martyr's Endurance, a sacred vessel that once belonged to the Adeptus Administratum. 100 years ago, the bureaucrats sent a mission here to establish a department, set up some kind of record-keeping, overhaul Footfall, and make everything here follow a billion laws to the letter. As you can see, it was the Martyr's Endurance and its inhabitants that got overhauled in the end. I don't know what happened to them, but the locals like to come here to make deals and count their money like before, in this temple of the Imperium's accountants. Over there, you can see even the sign's been preserved, partially. The Emperor is always with us, sir. Did you even see the statue outside? It's kinda hard to miss, the thing is visible through every crack. The Immortal One watches over us, and since he hasn't yet blown this sorry excuse for a station to smithereens and this bar along with it, I guess it suits him just fine. Haven't been to our fine station for a while, have you, sir? As per usual, there's never a dull moment. Either someone's getting shot in a square, or some rich guy's going on a safari to hunt commoners in the shadow quarters. Sure, the Liege makes sure that the local shenanigans don't get in the way of business on the station, but what happens on the outskirts adds a little spice to our lives. We make do, but the real trouble is, with every passing day it gets harder to find grub. I heard that some horrors are happening in the void outside Furibundus, that not all ships are making it here, and the Liege's old patrons don't seem to be in a hurry to help. It's taking a toll on Vladame's authority, and if his authority wobbles too hard, he'll have plenty of people lining up to take his place. This one might interest you, a tale I heard from a tipsy voidborn from a cargo barge. They exited the warp halfway between Furibundus and the Avirus system and came upon a shuttle wreck adrift. The shuttle was registered to the inevitable Triumph, a merchant ship that disappeared decades ago. She was bound for Footfall, her cargo holds brimming with valuable goods, but she never made it. If anything at all survived the shipwreck, it could be quite the lucky find. Here's another tidbit for you. Some poor sot was here bawling about how his crew tossed out a whole shipment of cargo along with the trash, and it was his fault somehow. He hid the fact, and once they docked at Footfall, he immediately went on the run. No surprise there, had they discovered his blunder, he would have been executed. I don't know what sort of cargo it was, but the ship he served on usually goes between Footfall and Winterscale's realm. She passes the 100 Dreams crossroads and Langren's belt. If you happen by that area, you might want to look for whatever that idiot chucked overboard.
Nice.
Octaviano looks at you closely, then takes a bottle from a shelf and uncorks it. The transparent, pungent-smelling liquid quickly fills the glass that sits between you. Pascal's respirator hisses quietly, and he says in an insinuating tone, "The alchemical composition of this substance is known to me. But never before have I come across such an unusual application. An exquisite path of martyrdom in honor of the Omnissiah." The glass contains a liquid that is clearly made from spent promethium. This is moonshine, virtually unfiltered, that quickly blows the drinker off their feet and, when imbibed regularly, turns their liver. The liquid burns your tongue, then your throat, then your stomach, it takes your breath away, but after a few seconds, warmth spreads throughout your body, and that's the second time I've seen a noble drink the octane blend without wincing. but I won't offer you any more. I've got just the thing set aside for such an occasion. Octaviana grabs a dusty unopened bottle from under the bar and a clean glass. The amber liquid splashes against the crystal walls as she the first was Coligo's Winterscale. That's right, the head of House Winterscale himself used to come here often. Impressive guy. True, whenever he and his officers came through the door, the locals would find themselves a hole to hide in. Drinks weren't the only thing his lordship liked knocking back. If someone so much as looked at him funny, he'd paint the walls red. Octaviana shows you an empty bottle and makes a helpless gesture. I'm sorry, sir, this was the last bottle of that year. What can I say? We're all feeling the brunt of Footfall's shipment problems.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust. I always have a backup plan. I always keep my options open. Keep your wits about you. Always keep your eye on the prize.
What torments you?
Let us not dawdle. This could be an opportunity.
Searching is my observance.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Sins hidden in the heart turn all to decay. The Emperor favors me today. Nothing escapes my sight.
And be heard.
Pay attention. I better myself through my service.
That's happened.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
Let the blood flow!
On it.
Me? The fury of House Orcelio. That is foolishness. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable. My vow is to serve. Running by Neric override.
I am your blade and shield. I shall not. My blade whispers your name. This goes against me. Let your soul be purged. The shadows will kill. Brings me no pleasure. I bring mercy and retribution.
I'm not interested. At your beck and call. Indeed. I will do my duty. I took care of this one.
Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it.
I'll see to it personally.
I'm not accustomed. Try to die in grace, at least. If I may? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
The Omnissiah knows, comprehends all. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
As honor ordains.
Let not the righteous fear. May their blades be sharp.
I shall not fail. As the tenants demand. Trust me. As honor ordains. Trust me. No. Death is a blessing.
Argenta rushes to the last living cultist and silently, furiously punches him in the face. Blaspheming heretic! Who were you praying to? I know those words, that call to allure. Argenta doesn't get to finish the cultist, having dropped to his knees, interrupts her with grating, rasping laughter. Of course you know them. I recognize you too, lackey to the corpse on the throne. Haven't you already experienced the power of the true God? Didn't you flee from us, shedding tears? You can kill me, servants of the corpse emperor. But you can't stop the victory of the true God. The edge of daybreak is nigh, and the hour of his triumph approaches. Silence hangs for a minute. Then Argenta turns to you and shrugs nonchalantly. That's it? We fulfilled Reverend Hieronymus's request, which means I am now free. I can continue my travels with you, rogue traitor. Before we leave this den, let us round up what remains of the blasphemers. I would like to cleanse this place with purifying flame, but perhaps we can find clues that might tell us where these heretics came from, or if they have any more
Is there money to be
associates.
made?
Unlocked.
Operation successful.
keep your wits about you. Always keep your eye on the prize.
A grim smile brightens his features, and he makes the sign of the Aquila. I hope that their suffering was commensurate with their deeds.
I always keep my options open.
Unlocked.
This Slorito is blessed with multifunctionality.
One of the many altars. It looks better tended than most places on Footfall. The heart of Footfall is a colossal statue of the Emperor carved from a single asteroid.
I always have a backup plan.
Because Balaga trades Xeno artifacts on Footfall. They're barely blatantly at that. And the Ordo Xenos is in no hurry to rectify the situation.
Yaldari. Behavior, duplicitous, aggressive. Habitat, woods. Diet, infants, 2 to 3 a week. Fears, the Emperor, righteous people. Access received.
Let us not dawdle.
The low hum of voices quiets, and a dozen gazes shift to you. The tall man with a shaved head is rubbing his hands together nervously. His opulent clothes are nearly bursting at the seams on his muscular body, and his expression is forbiddingly grim. Still, he's trying to put on an air of friendliness. Greetings. You must be He glances at the scroll in his mechanical hand implant. Master Fidelio. All the guests have arrived, you're the last on the list, and we couldn't well start without you. He rubs his hands together anxiously. Von Valancius. You're not on the list. But that hardly matters, all doors on Footfall are open to a representative of Lady Theodora. Please, come right in, Chaplain is about to begin. Now where is that last attendee, Fidelio? You catch sight of something odd before stepping away from you. The man gestures subtly to a nearby servitor, giving it some kind of command. The servitor quickly removes the bottles of amasec and glasses set out for the attendees from a nearby table. The gathering you've found yourself at seems refined and respectable at first glance. The decorations and the attendees' clothes speak of wealth, and so does the location, which isn't far from the Liege's residence. But you notice that most of those gathered are of rather imposing physique. Many of them have scars and military-grade implants. Several of the guests look like they are covering the exit. A few are clearly carrying concealed weapons. Judging by the way that fellow with the list was talking about this individual, it's someone very important. But it's not a name I've heard before. I have never heard the name before either. Oh, what a terrible, sorrowful day. We pay our respects to the life and soul of Footfall Society, a loyal servant of the Imperium, a generous benefactor who spared no expense to keep the fire of faith burning, and an example to all future generations, the most noble and unforgettable Master Belardo. This loss, the fussy administratum clerk speaks in a strained voice and keeps peeking at a paper with text on it. His speech drags on and on, blending into a monotonous cascade of praises of the late Master Belardo. So let us offer a prayer to the Emperor for the repose of Master Belardo's soul and the prosperity of his heirs. I now pass you over to our most reverend chaplain. A formidable-looking man dressed in the attire of an ecclesiarchy missionary glares at the gathered crowd. And here you all are, you vultures. Let's offer a prayer, then. But if you think that the Emperor or the messenger of his will, in other words, myself, does not see into your vile souls, you are sorely mistaken. Chaplain looks at you and gives a slight nod. I wasn't referring to our esteemed guest. But the rest of you I know all too well. So go ahead, pray for Belardo's soul. Soon the flames will take him. A fitting end for a life like his. May the Emperor keep his soul. Without another word, Chaplain makes the sign of the Aquila and pointedly turns away from the attendees. Abelard maintains a grave expression befitting the occasion until he sees the face of the deceased. He frowns. He peers at it with suspicion. Then he gasps, astonished, almost dazed. I'll be. This is quite the meeting, if it can be called such, under the circumstances. The implants left in the deceased's body speak of his high-standing expensive tech is typically extracted from the dead, and only the most prominent and wealthy avoid this fate upon their death. Do I? I would tell you all about this man, but the words I'd use would be improper for a funeral. This, your lordship, is Jerry Candens, known back in the day as one of the most notorious pirates in the Coronis Expanse. They nicknamed him Jerry Can for his habit of having a jug or two of promethium on hand. He did love burning things. Oh yes, he was a menace back then. How long ago was it? 60 years ago. I was serving my last days in the Navy when news came of his latest attack. Abelard distractedly runs a hand through his hair. Well, there was a time when the sight of Jerry Ken in a coffin would have been enough to make me dance. Quite literally. By the throne, I would have danced a jig on the spot. But now, I don't know. No more jumping into the warp right from under the cruiser's nose, you old beast? Who would have thought I'd be at your funeral? Folks on Footfall are known to turn a blind eye to many things, but even the locals aren't so unscrupulous as to honor pirate scum a few paces away from the Liege's residence. But no one has heard of Dens for so many decades. I barely recognized him myself, and I've seen his face on pics a fair few times back then. I assume he retired and started a more or less honest life under a new name. What was it they were calling him? Master Belardo? Now I remember. Reverend Hieronymus mentioned the name Master Belardo as one of the biggest donors to the temple. The tall man who welcomed you at the entrance is shifting from foot to foot and keeps glancing around with a gloomy expression. I'm Dagon Uthio. I was first mate on Dens's ship, I mean, Master Belardo. Dagon smirks. They used to call me Torch. He's Jerry Can, I'm Torch, those were the days. Well, Dens that is, Belardo my old friend and boss, died. And he left all he had, and he had a lot, mind you, to this Fidelio. That was kind of rude of him, that's no way to treat your friends. I get it, he left his useless son high and dry, and a good thing too, but his old friend? Old age, you know, his head wasn't the same anymore, yeah, that's got to be it. It was just too unfair. To fly with him for 10 years and then get nothing for it? Dagon winces like he has a toothache. I wish I knew. I first heard the name when Dens kicked it. Maybe Fidelio's a whore who put a smile on his face in his golden years? And so Dens decided to give them the whole kit and caboodle. You're a distinguished sword, you can muscle in on this. You can talk to Chaplain, he's Dens's executor, and ask about the will. Or maybe you can find Fidelio and have a talk with them too. I mean, who'd want an inheritance that's not rightfully theirs? More trouble than it's worth, if you ask me. And trust me, old Dagon can be of service to you if you need anything. I know lots about Footfall and other things, I can help with information, get you some solid lads for a job, you can use a guy like me. Badly. He went downhill real fast just a year ago, he was still living it up, storming the slum asteroids to shoot riffraff and mutants, and then all of a sudden, he was done. His old wounds had caught up with him, and he had plenty of those, both from the old days and more recent ones, like when somebody tried to bump him off, 12 years back, I think it was. The patch on the servitor's uniform reads, "Property of House Belardo."
My house would be proud of me.
Among the words of parting and praise for the deceased, a fresh entry stands out: repentance, with a signature underneath Fid. The letters are crabbed and barely legible. A local servitor bearing the crest of the Administratum Services. A man of indeterminate age turns to you and sighs loudly. You can tell by his breath that he came to the ceremony after indulging in 1 or 2 glasses of strong drink. Good sir of House von Valancius. I'm ever so glad to see at least one decent person in this crowd. His eyes narrow. Can we talk? Support from an envoy of an esteemed dynasty could very much help. Pardon me. Cass Belardo. I have the honor of being the only child of the deceased. If I was the one lying in that box, he wouldn't be crying his eyes out either. Cass bites out with sudden acidity. He takes a moment to calm himself. A son's feelings are complicated. I wasn't a good son, old Dens wasn't a good father. But I do miss him in my own way, yes. He always seemed timeless to me, not just a bag of meat and ugly ambitions like the rest of us are. Ha ha, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. Even good old Chaplain doesn't tell me to repent, he gave up on me long ago. And my old dad, he gave up on me long before that. He laughs nervously. Wait, you mean that repentance? Those stupid ghosts or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure my father did it himself, the senile old kook, or maybe it was my daughter messing around. Where else could those words have come from? Oh, you don't know? Out of the blue, writing started appearing on a wall in our house, just one word: repentance, big, sprawling scribbles, like a child's handwriting. The first one appeared about 10 or so years back. The help kept whispering about it being the work of ghosts, whoa. But for some reason the old man didn't want to do anything about it, and he told me not to. The writing amused him somehow. Whenever he'd see repentance scratched on the wall, he'd just grin. Age. Debauchery. Old wounds. By the end, well, he grimaces. The lawful heir is being robbed of his inheritance. My dear father left his entire fortune, down to the last coin, to some nobody, a certain Fidelio, who hasn't even bothered to come to his funeral. Your nobility, you, of all people, must realize just how wrong and unacceptable the situation is. To turn a funeral rite into a stepping stone for one's covetous desires is blasphemy. To dispute the will of the dead is doubly blasphemous. Kybella's dark eyes seemed to burn right through the man, making him swallow nervously and avert his gaze. As if I know. The old man wasn't a heart-to-heart sort of person. Right up until the announcement of his last will and testament, I had no idea he'd put me in the doghouse. I have absolutely no idea. Zero. There's a will, there's a name, that's it. Maybe they're my father's biblo, some brother or sister I never knew I had. Maybe they're a whore who brightened his final days. I get the feeling that old louse Chaplain knows, he's always known more about father's business than any of us. Put a word in for me, suggest that they go over the will one more time. You're an envoy of House von Valancius, after all, and Footfall respects that name.
Or get left in
And,
the dust.
well, it would be nice to find out who this Fidelio is too. Chaplain gives you a respectful nod. May Saint Drosus protect you from illness and misfortune. I'm surprised to see a noble figure such as yourself here. Did you know Dens? I mean, Master Bellardo. Interesting. I knew he kept secrets even from me, his friend and confessor. Then again, meeting you is not the only secret I've discovered. I still don't know who this Fidelio is, the person who Dens made his heir. Chaplain chuckles. The scars on his face grow even more prominent. Do you know why they call me Chaplain? It's because I was the priest on Dens's ship in his wilder days. If you're surprised, you shouldn't be. There are plenty of heretic scum among the pirates of the Expanse, but Dens wasn't one of them. He was a true believer. And he shared more of the Imperium's ideals than some of those stiff-necked officers. A leader with an iron fist and an iron will. Don't we owe our conquest of thousands of star systems to people like that? And the ones he robbed were mostly types that no true subject of the Imperium would shed a tear over. Xenos, heretics. Not all of them, of course, I haven't the faintest idea. And I think that no one present knows either, or 24 hired killers would have already begun a manhunt for this Fidelio, wherever they may be hiding. This is, after all, a significant inheritance. And the other claimants are not exactly pleased at being left out of the will. Chaplain's eyes narrow a little. I can see that you're intrigued. I must say I am too. Ever since I heard of my friend's death, I couldn't stop thinking about the mystery of his will. You have the von Valancius name and title, perhaps you can pull more out of the guests here than I could. Here is the only clue I've got. Dens mentioned the name Fidelio to me only once. It was a long time ago. He was very drunk. He latched onto my robe and said, I hope that these are his exact words. I owe Fidelio. If not for the repentance. How strange, aren't you Master Bellardo's confessor, Chaplain? How could anyone other than you have told him to repent? I didn't, that's for sure. I can't imagine what he meant by it. Huh? That's odd. I've been watching the guests, and I know everyone here. If you're not Fidelio, then no one here is Fidelio. Well, unless they were able to get in undetected. Of course they did. And they still do. And they will keep trying. The inheritance is no trifle, after all. And the claimants are not exactly the placid types. Chaplain shrugs, as if he's talking about something mundane. I'm a missionary of Saint Draciel, and the truth of the Imperium speaks through me. So I see no point in pretense. All who have gathered here have one goal: to bite a chunk out of Denz's estate. Ambition and aspirations of wealth are not immoral in and of themselves, but, Chaplain grimaces.
Keep your wits about you.
Your lordiness, good health to you. We were just, sending our good old Denz on his way.
Watch out.
The patch on the servitor's uniform reads, property of House Bellardo. Among the words of parting and praise for the deceased, a fresh entry stands out: repentance, with a signature underneath Fid. The letters are crabbed and barely legible.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Your Excellency, I humbly bow before you. Denz did love his toys, but the names he gave them were simpler than that. He called his favorite rifle Shooty Pew Pew. I doubt he would call another thing repentance. You know, there's a saying that no lair is big enough for two beasts, Chaplain says warmly, almost affectionately. What I mean is, if Denz and some daemon from the warp happened to share the same house, the one who'd run or wind up dead would be the daemon. Not the other way around. And so, according to the deceased's will, all of Bellardo's fortune goes, not to his worthless son Cass, not to his brainless mate Dagon, but to Fidelio, a mysterious new heir. However, I believe a certain party would like to intervene in this process. Chaplain winces, looking bored. Frankly, I'm beginning to suspect that this Fidelio from the Wool is just one of Denz's jokes. A stunt like this would be right up his alley. I imagine he'd be ecstatic if everyone at his funeral were at each other's throats. It's my best guess. Let me remind you what he said, I owe Fidelio. if not for the repentance. Who else could he have been indebted to if not a vengeful daughter or lover, or whoever she was of a captain he'd killed? It would be a very dense thing to do to leave all the money not to his wimp of a son, not to his idiot first mate, but to the cunning lass who almost killed him. She got away after the attempt, but I know that Den sent mercenaries after her almost immediately. Whether he found her or not, that I do not know. It seems unlikely he did, because if he had settled the score with her, he wouldn't then go and put her in his will, would he? Yes, that's exactly right. Well, Lord Von Valancius, now it's all in your hands. I'm no sleuth and don't know what to do with all these clues. If you have some thoughts about Fidelio's whereabouts, find her. If not, come back to me. We still need to send Dens on his way and deal with the matter of his estate. Silence. The servitor's eyelids flutter slightly, its gaze staring off into space. Deep inside its single human eye, dark as a well, a spark seems to flicker, or is it just your imagination? Chaplin's tall figure appears next to you. Let's see here, let's see, one moment, Section B17/40, Personal Effects of the Deceased, Subsection Servitors, here it is. Oh, this is a rare, one-of-a-kind unit. Commissioned personally by Master Bellardo 12 years ago. The main function of the servitor is cleaning the house, bedrooms, vestibules, bathrooms. In accordance with Master Bellardo's wishes, its free will was completely eradicated, and the parts of its brain that regulated pleasure responses were destroyed, but to a large extent, its memory and awareness were preserved. I believe so. Didn't I tell you that Dens, after he survived the assassination attempt, sent a whole squad of mercenaries to hunt down the woman who tried to kill him? Looks like he found her. Chaplain nods at the servitor. She was allowed to keep her memory and some semblance of awareness, so I suppose the mysterious writing of repentance both here in the book and back at Dens's home was done by her. The question that remains, of course, is why would Dens decide to make a servitor his heir? This is either his last and cruelest joke or an incredibly ham-fisted attempt to make amends on his deathbed. I'd like to believe that it's the former. This matter requires further investigation. We will have to go over the codices, bylaws, statutes, regulations, from the last 400 years or so. The clerk pales a little. But we'll find the answer sooner or later. Or we could ask Lord von Valancius to settle the matter in the name of his dynasty. This is Footfall, after all. If a rogue trader says that a servitor can inherit, then that's how it's going to be. I would ask the esteemed guests to stay for a moment longer. I was going to announce Dens's last will and testament after he was delivered into the flames, but the circumstances dictated otherwise. And so, according to the deceased's will, all of Bellardo's fortune goes, not to his worthless son Cass, not to his brainless mate Dagon, but to Fidelio, a mysterious new heir. However, I believe a certain party would like to intervene in this process. Chaplain looks straight at you and chuckles. That's the cleaner servitor from our house. What's there to know about her? Her only outstanding quality is that it's hilarious how she wobbles and flaps her grabbers about when you kick her out of the way. I don't know about the servitor, I've got better things to do in life than look at furniture. And the ship, I think there was one Cobra by that name or something similar. We were pretty, gentle with it. Boarded it, I mean. Dens was on top of his game that day after the battle. He dragged their captain to the bridge, all tied up, and sat him at the table with us. We were going through the captain's amasec. So you're sure you want to hear everything? Anyway, the three of us sat there, me, Dens, and the captain of the Repentance, as the boys brought whoever was left of their crew, one by one, and we popped them. I bet Cockeye over there remembers, he was there too, and so were the twins. Dagon nods at a few of the guests. We three watched. And when the party drew to a close, we threw the captain on top of the pile of his crew's bodies and, as was Dens's way, torched him alive. Those were good times. It's a real shame Dens quit. I keep thinking, if he hadn't fallen for this what chocolate peaceful life, maybe he wouldn't have checked out, maybe he would have lived for another 20 years. Cass Bellardo, the first to guess where this is going, falls to his knees. Mercy. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not a pirate, not a cutthroat, just a harmless drunk. And a single father to boot.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
I will level you!
I'll brush this off. It's as good as done.
I'll do it. Faith without deeds, this is why I was chosen!
I'll make it happen.
Running binary online. Requests approved. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocols.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Do not dare ask.
suffered worse.
Damage is negligible.
Let's make it quick.
Time to slaughter someone.
As the Emperor commands, I act. Guided by faith. I'm not injured. I'm enraged. Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Hold on.
No! My ears are ringing.
Out my way. Here we go.
Let your soul be purged. Killing brings me no pleasure.
Let's get to it.
Yet iron knows no pain.
Marks to death. And you chose this one?
Victory is imminent. It will be done.
Running binary override.
Isn't this a job for the another firm painted black? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Integrity failure. Detected.
I'll do it.
Let's get to it.
Brace yourself, Traveler.
Scared yet?
I will leave footprints of scarlet. The other side awaits. I shall not fail. Let your soul be purged.
Let's make it quick. Hold on.
Endure.
Dying one favors you. Accept his gift.
At your beck and call. Indeed. I'd rather not.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. if I may.
Doubt is for the weak. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands. I'll do it.
Out of my way.
A dance of blades and shadows. I will not die in dishonor. The shadows will see it done. As honor orders.
Open your eyes,
Death
or
is a
I'll
blessing.
open mine.
As the tenets demand.
At your beck and call.
Step aside. The navigator is coming.
Faith without deeds is worthless. As the Emperor commands, I act.
I will do my duty. Someone else can do this. No matter the cost. Victory is imminent. Indeed.
Chaplain is observing the carnage, unfazed. Dens would approve of a funeral like this. Now what? What are we going to do with Fidelio? Chaplain shrugs. The rightful heir can't exactly make use of it, as you can see, and, thanks to your hard work, the other claimants have no more claims to lay. Want to take the fortune for yourself? I think Dens would say you're welcome to it. He liked people like you, people with gumption. I will spare no effort. And now. I imagine the crematorium has got its furnaces up and running already, but I feel it would be kind of sad to just shove Dens in there like that. He was known as Jerry Ken Dens, and he loved having his enemies drenched in promethium and burned. I think it'd be a nice gesture to send him on his way in the same fashion. Thankfully, it's easy enough to procure a Jerry Ken of promethium on Footfall.
Sounds intriguing.
Never doubt me.
Is there money to be made?
My patience. You remember the way out. Dismissed. The tall man in austere gray clothes makes a show of looking past the woman he's addressing. Viladame, 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 what has he put such harsh words into your mouth? You talk like you're an imperial clerk, not one of us. The woman, who is standing with her back to you, lets out an ostentatious sigh, then her tone changes dramatically. Where's my cargo, Viladame? Falco has it, doesn't he? So that's how you do business with your old friends these days? So you don't remember? Then the help will remind you. Guards, escort her out. Hatery, move. The massive guard leans down to the woman and says in a lowered voice. Jay, get going while he's letting you. Go drown your sorrows at the Amazicus and thank your lucky stars you were able to walk out the door. You won't get the chance next time. First an insult, and now threats? I see courtesy and tact are no longer a valued commodity on Footfall. Oh well, I'll find myself a better deal. She turns on her heel and heads toward the exit. As she passes you by, she gives you a quick once-over, winks at you, then immediately turns away with a flip of her jet black hair. The tall man, who has long since noticed your presence, is studying you intently. Viladame Tokara, Liege of Footfall. Let us please proceed to my office. A spread befitting a visitor of your rank is waiting. Your entourage will be accommodated nearby. Please follow me. While you are engaged in small talk, you get a chance to take the measure of Liege Tokara. His expression is aloof and focused, his gestures curt and firm, and his speech calm and quiet as though he is used to people always listening to what he says. Judging by his observant gaze, he has been studying you in turn this whole time. Viladame straightens in his chair and says in a polite but completely indifferent tone, let's talk business. On behalf of the elite of Footfall Station, I offer you my condolences, Lord von Valancius. We mourn Lady Theodora's loss and we hope the sentiment is taken as a sign of our good intentions and willingness to cooperate. I hope that under your guidance, the dynasty can recover from this blow and attain even greater. I am impressed by your prudence. Your decision to arrive on Footfall incognito without announcing either the death of the previous rogue trader or your own status, it was quite wise. The rumors will spread sooner or later. It's impossible to keep secret something that's known to the thousands of people serving on a void ship. But for now, you are free to reap the benefits of anonymity. As you may have noticed, Footfall is currently in a state of crisis. Its people would benefit from the patronage of a figure such as yourself. Viladame's expression hardens, and he makes a frustrated gesture. A dead woman walking. Some, however, still call her Jay Hatery. A small-time hustler with big ambitions that will lead her to a sticky end. It's strange a small-time hustler, even a particularly audacious one, wouldn't likely quarrel in public with a figure as important as the Liege of Footfall. What seems stranger still is that the Liege knows this small fry by name. She is irrelevant. Since I'm the one in control of the situation on Footfall, I can speak on behalf of all of its noteworthy residents. Shortly before you did, he was interested in certain sensitive information, which I happen to possess, and he also required access to the dock cogitators containing logging and administration data. Naturally, I offered my full cooperation and provided the esteemed arbitrators with a designated area at the docks where they could work away from the bustle and din of the crowd. I assume that is where the proctor is at the moment. An outrageous stunt, a show of disrespect for both you and me. Sadly, such incidents on Footfall are akin to natural disasters impossible to predict or preempt, they simply happen. Many consider Footfall to be a pirate den, but believe me when I say that there is a difference between organized crime and gangs of thugs who have nothing to lose. You were attacked by the latter. The Enver are a gang of punks who spit on our customs and hierarchy. Even their leader is more akin to an ideologue, a rabble-rouser who calls for people's heads. Not a commander. Sooner or later, we will find him and have him strung up that will likely cool his followers' enthusiasm. Behind a carefully built facade of composure, you sense anger. It appears that this man is not used to losing control, but that is exactly what is happening. He grits his teeth slightly before answering. I've been using all my resources to delay the moment when the station is hit by famine. I haven't gotten around to the Enver yet. As detrimental as they are, they're no players. When their leader dies, the rest will scatter. What? Your words seem to perplex him for a moment, but his face remains cold. Oh, that. Yes, her death was a regrettable development. Troubling. Xenos raids are growing more frequent, trade is suffering, and fringe worlds are going under. Rumors of atrocities being committed by enemies of humanity are causing excessive panic due to the core of the Imperium forces in the Coronis Expanse has departed for the sector's borders to combat the Xenos threat. There has been no word from them for a while now. Then again, with the distance and the current issues with astropaths, that is not entirely out of the ordinary. Still, we are not yet alone. From several of the worlds hit by Xenos attacks, we've received reports of fierce warriors who descended from the sky and entered the fray. The fragmentary accounts lead me to believe that the blessed Adeptus Asteroids are operating in the Coronis Expanse, and I await news of their victories with great anticipation. No, there haven't. Attacking Footfall in general is not a particularly reasonable thing to do. Many ships are docked here at any given time, and even the listed weapons on board would make for a decent fighting force. And that's not even to mention the firepower that our esteemed merchants have shamefully hidden from the station's customs officials. For us here, Xenos are more of a source of income than a threat. Vladame freezes, gauging your reaction. I hear you. You must have misunderstood. What I meant was, loyal servants of the Emperor often trade their spoils here on Footfall, including those claimed in battles with otherworldly beasts. Any other forms of interaction with Xenos are, of course, persecuted without mercy. Protection. Not military protection, but a different kind of security. You have, of course, already encountered difficulties with warp navigation on your way here. I'm afraid the scope of these difficulties extends far beyond this area. Reports of disrupted routes and ships vanishing during short jumps are coming in from across the entire sector. Communication with the Calixa sector has been extremely unstable. Of the ships that have dived into the Maw in recent years, none have yet returned. The last ship that came through the Maw from the other side was struck by a temporal anomaly. The jump took almost 2 decades in real space-time. And this brings us to our main issue, Footfall is a repair shipyard and a trading post. We barely produce anything ourselves and are largely dependent on incoming shipments. Especially food shipments. The station, naturally, has some reserve. Naturally, I tried contacting other rogue traders. But the terms of House Corda would have bled Footfall dry, and as for the esteemed Coligo's Winterscale, instead of a food shipment from him, I received a transport, the Naadiaka, packed with refugees. I had to send them off to Foulstone, so many extra mouths to feed would have only worsened the crisis further. I suppose all these warp fluctuations must have created more pressing concerns for Lord Winterscale. And so I put my faith in you, the third and last of Footfall's allies. Viladame listens with a stony expression. You are very perceptive. Well, now you know what you're buying. The situation is difficult, but should you decide to offer your support, you'll forget about the existence of trading hubs other than Footfall. Because you won't have more loyal friends anywhere else.
So, what are the terms of this deal?
It's simple. Delivery of food shipments from your fertile world's Janus, I imagine. I'm quite familiar with that jewel of the Von Valencius Protectorate in exchange for fair payment.
I will help, Footfall, but not out of desire for profit. I have no interest in obtaining any favors of the kind, and I will become your patron. Save me from lives.
Viladame's gaze is slightly distrustful. Such charity is a rare sight in the Coronis expanse. Even figures as powerful as rogue traders do not show it often. Thank you, your lordship.
What is happening in the Shadow Quarters? Why is there a quarantine zone? Why is there a quarantine? Oh, that. Grimaces. Who knows? It will be an actual epidemic, or perhaps two families that started all just came down with poisoning at the same time. We are on the space station. The best solution here is to isolate the area, wait for the problem solved, though. You're right, Liege. The death of people in the quarantine zone is a necessary price for station security. Oh, do I want to be dogmatic here? Okay, next dogmatic, no matter what. I wish to help people in the quarantine zone. I will have medicine delivered to them by my ship, from my ship.
I can't bar you from doing so. But I can't help but note that it's not the wisest course of action. With all due respect, your lordship. Rest assured, I will be candid. My lips are bound by the oath of service. What exactly interests you on Footfall, this abode of merchants, xenotech traders, and only a few bandits? There is a certain custom on Footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives at the station and docks is considered to be its absolute ruler. And the leech their loyal servant. That makes me your servant. Viladame's arrogant bearing contradicts his words.
I won't abuse my right.
And I, in turn, will remember your gracious attitude. And I'll remember it when the esteemed Coligo's Winterscale returns to discover that Footfall is no longer under his patronage. He will be displeased upon finding his domain encroached upon and will try to take it back. And Coligo's Winterscale's displeasure is a very, very hazardous phenomenon. A fight between two rogue traders will ensue, and, as ridiculous as it may sound, its outcome will most likely depend on the allegiance of the station's humble leech.
Something tells me you're used to being a bit of a bandit yourself.
You aren't wrong. My path was long and bloody, but in the end I rose from running a gang that had staked its claim to a treatment filter station to becoming the Liege of Footfall. Many died to make this possible. And those who survived figured it would be more convenient to put me at the head than continue the slaughter of the turf war. I can only hope that my elevation and the peace that came with it have done the station good.
There is sound logic in having the sharpest mind run the station. The Administratum would have installed some pitiful clerk instead.
I appreciate your breadth of thinking. In this day and age, Few choose to allow themselves such a thing.
Who holds the reins of the Xenos trade?
The Kasbalika mission, a criminal syndicate that has seized control of the entirety of the cold trade in the sector. Xenos creations are in high demand, and so every single colony has a Kasbalikan agent or two. Opposing their commercial interests is a lot more dangerous than using their merchandise.
No more questions. What does one go to make a few deals here on the station?
Here. I am the main dealer on the station, and it would be disrespectful of me to suggest that you take your business to Footfall traders of lesser importance. Still, you might take an interest in a few people of note, for example, Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso. This servant of the ecclesiarchy is rumored to purchase sacred relics from captains, and other traders don't seem keen on becoming. If you're looking for goods that can entertain you, find Octaviana at the establishment called the Adeptus Amicus. The chemical bliss that she offers is refined and possesses I am at your service. You can expect the most generous discounts.
I always keep my options open.
Upon noticing Kybella, Vladimir quickly assumes a bored expression. Carefully, without making any sudden movements, he wipes his glasses and, as if absent-mindedly, puts a hand under the table. Then I won't take up any more of your time.
I always have a backup plan.
Lord Captain, I am pleased to report that the inspections have been completed and all identified system failures have been resolved. The void ship is ready to depart Footfall. The crew is waiting for your further instructions, and there are also a number of issues that need to be addressed. We also received word from Proctor Solomorn Anthar, the arbitrator whose squad we retrieved from Rykat Minories. He has requested an audience with you and said he will be waiting at the Footfall docks.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
A well-groomed young man calls out to you. He is clean-shaven and dressed in clothes that are expensive but unshowy, with a bright aquila embroidered in a prominent spot. Noble sir, a minute of your time, if you please. I am Bastion Indirama Bastal Corda, youngest cousin of House Corda, envoy of Incendia Bastal Corda, rogue trader of the Coronis Expanse by the grace of the Most Holy Emperor. And you must be an envoy of Theodora von Valencius. I noticed that you arrived on the esteemed lady's ship. Corda, They are some of the most influential rogue traders in the Coronis Expanse. But not on Footfall. The station is under the control of House Winterscale. Something tells me that we are about to hear a most curious offer, says Abelard under his breath so that only you can hear him. Splendid. It's a pleasure to be speaking with an equal. Truth be told, I get a little flustered in the presence of the powers that be. Bastion smiles meekly. A matter of the utmost delicacy, you see, you've been to the residence of the Leech. Vladimir almost certainly appealed to you for assistance in the arrangement of shipments to Footfall. The Von Valencius Protectorate is famed for the abundance of its main agri-world, Janus. It would be odd for him not to seize on such an opportunity when Footfall is on the verge of famine. However, the Corda dynasty pursues its own interests on Footfall. We have already announced our terms to the Leech, but he is stalling, I imagine, in hopes of getting a better offer from you. The Corda dynasty believes, Bastion smiles and gives a slight shrug, that cooperation would be preferable for both rogue trader houses. If you refuse Vladimir, thereby forcing him to agree to a deal with us, the Corda dynasty can promise you a share of the profits from the future contract, as well as certain other perquisites. Everybody benefits. The Emperor's most loyal servants should be more concerned with carrying his will through the stars and less with divvying up profit among themselves, Argenta says disapprovingly, but quietly enough so as not to interrupt the negotiations. especially when the well-being of one of the Imperium's worlds is at stake, even one such as Footfall. Behind your smile, Master Bastion, teal shadows swirl. Others may not see them, but your worry cannot escape my eye. What are you afraid of? Your house's wrath should these negotiations prove fruitless? Or the wrath of House von Valancius? Not at all. Would you like to take these negotiations somewhere more suitable so that I may go over the details?
I'll make an example out of you. I'll see to it personally.
Me? Face the Navigator's might!
I'll make it happen. Who if not me?
My vow is to serve.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet. Witness the fury of House Orcelio. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
I'm not interested. I'd rather not.
Death comes in silence. As honor or killing brings me no pleasure. The shadows will see it done.
Doubt is for the weak.
I'm a member.
As the Emperor... I'll do it. God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. Faith without deep...
Here we go.
Let's get to it!
A tactically sound approach. It will be done. That's not the Seneschal's job.
Show me what you've got! Let's get to it!
Let's get to it. Let's make it quick.
I refuse. It's as good as...
Request approved.
I cannot serve you in this way. As honor ordains.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. I'll do it. I am his will made manifest. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Hold on. Out of my way.
I will do my duty. I'm not interested. I'd rather not.
I'm here, maggot. Time to slaughter someone.
Here we go. Let's get to it.
No! These ruby flashes are choking me.
On it. I'll make it happen.
As the tenants demand. Come, the other side awaits. This goes against the tenants.
Explorators know one route. Forward.
I have read tomes of military tactics. I am a navigator. If only that were possible.
I bring mercy and retribution. Trust me. I shall my blade whispers your name.
Doubt is for the weak. Rejoice in battle! As the Emperor commands, I act.
Let's get to it.
I need your aegis, O Emperor.
Let's make it quick.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. Victory is imminent.
Hold on.
You should feel honored to witness this.
Caught by the web. My blade whispers your name. The shadow killing brings me no pleasure.
Let us not dawdle.
Man introducing himself as a servant of House Harden asks to have a word with me, and then imagine the odds someone blows his brains out.
Viladame doesn't look surprised. The Enver again, I presume? Those anarchical degenerates don't care whom they shoot, be it my servants, yours, or those in the employ of House Corda. I suspect that this agent wished to negotiate a deal that would have you refrain from hindering Incendia Corda's efforts to strangle us with the threat of hunger and demand our obedience. If so, I don't believe I will be mourning the man's passing very long. If you're suggesting that those outlaws were acting on my orders, then I vociferously deny anything of the sort.
It is suspicious, though. So I'm gonna stop here. It's quite longer than I wanted to. Alrighty, that wrong room. Alrighty, thank you for watching. And I might be back tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Alright, thank you for watching. And if you can, like and subscribe. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever you're doing. And goodbye.